Okay then, well, here's an interesting development. The week before I went on my road trip, I was coming back from out of town, and about halfway back from where I was at up in Tennessee, I noticed when I put the brakes on my car here that it made a strange noise up front, on the right front, and I could feel it through the brake pedal a little bit. And just kind of a whoop, 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 whoop noise. It wasn't really loud, but it was noticeable. And also at the same time, this car's always had a noise up in the right front when you hit bumps, but it seemed like it'd gotten worse. So I was going on a trip and I wasn't going anywhere else with the car, so I didn't mess with it till today. So I got on out. I've already had this off, pulled apart and looked at it and found out what was wrong with it. So I'll show you guys. I pulled the wheel off. The wheel was tight, lugs were tight, everything was good. This is what I saw. Do you see what's going on there? The two bolts that hold the caliper in on are gone. I don't know where they went, don't know when they went, but they have backed out and disappeared, and so the caliper is essentially just floating free right here. And this is where they go. This is a slider pin, and then there's another slider pin down here, as you can see there, dust boot on it, and they're okay and they're doing their thing, but the bolts are completely gone. So if you remember back a while when I first got this car, one of the things I had to do is I had to repair these brakes, and the caliper, it had one stuck caliper pin on the left front, I think it was, and both of these over here were stuck tight, so I had to work with them and get them out. So I'm not sure what happened. I don't know if I got distracted and I forgot to put the bolts in tight enough, didn't tighten them down, what have you. But anyway, that's an unusual thing to have go on, and it could have been pretty dangerous because the brakes, well, I don't think the caliper would have fallen off because it's just not enough room here. You can see it looks like it's been hitting the wheel some, so not a good thing to have happen. And so I've taken those on the left out and Loctited them, and then I've went to the parts store. Just fortunately, the parts store carries the pins and the bolts, so all I need is the bolts. The pins are still good, so I'll put pins or bolts in rather, and this time I'm going to Loctite them, and this time I'm definitely going to tighten them down tight. Because on here, the way this works is you got this slider pin which has space for a 17mm wrench on it. You use that to hold the pin in place, and then you tighten up the bolt out here, which is about a 14, I think. And it's pretty cut and dried. So I hope it hasn't messed up my brake pads too bad. They look alright right now, but I'll take it out and put all that back together the right way. So that's a really unusual thing to go on. So anytime you're working on brakes, you need to check, double check, triple check, make sure that you've put things back together tightly, and just keep an eye on things like that. I was suspicious at first. I thought, well, has somebody pulled my bolts out of my caliper trying to make me lose my brakes or something? And just thought about that. I thought, well, that's, you know, it's not easy to do that with a wheel on, because you have to keep that pin from turning with a wrench, and you know, there's just no way. So it's just something I did, my own fault. We make mistakes sometimes. So anyway, let me do that, and we should be on the road again. See you guys.